Brian David Marshall, wandering around the fish market here in Kyoto, Japan, just days before Pro Tour Hour of Devastation. And I could tell you that one of the teams that is hoping to leapfrog 3 teams ahead of them in the standings for the Pro Tour Team Series is Team Puzzle Quest, made up of some of the most historic figures in the game. Team Puzzle Quest, of course, has a lot of work to do. There are 3 teams ahead of them. They're in 5th place right now. But you know what? This is a team that really knows how to, manage an unlikely comeback. You have John Finkel, the Hall of Famer, 16-time Pro Tour Top 8 competitor. You have William Huey Jensen, also a Hall of Famer, 5-time Top 8 competitor, and a Masters Series champion, one of the old tournament series from a bygone era. His Peach Garden Oath teammates, they've just dominated the Team GP Series with Reed Duke, of course, multiple-time Pro Tour Top 8 competitor, and Hall of Fame member Owen Turtenwald. We also have Andrew Cuneo, 2-time Pro Tour Top 8 competitor, and of course, Paul Rietzel, the Pro Tour Amsterdam champion, and oh, by the way, another Hall of Famer. So these guys know how to, pull off an unlikely victory somewhere along the way, and they're gonna be trying to leapfrog 3 teams here at Pro Tour Hour of Devastation.
You have to remain calm. It's easy when you play Magic to just give up. Either you actually give up and you pick up your cards, or you mentally give up and you sort of just are sitting there waiting to lose and think about every possible way to come back.
Probably the most unlikely victory in my career was the first Masters Series, where I beat Jason Zila in the finals. I was a pretty big underdog in that match. So I was playing a creature-based control deck. With Survival of the Fittest and Trade and Rider and stuff like that. But I did have one really powerful card in the sideboard, Back to Basics it was called. It was a blue and 2 for an enchantment. Non-basic lands don't untap. And I think either all or effectively all of Jason's lands were non-basic. So he had cards like Seal of Cleansing and Disenchant, but I was able to put like 3 into play in the final game. So like Seal of Cleansing didn't do anything and he just couldn't untap his lands anymore, which is really strong when your opponent can untap their lands. It's easy to win from that position.
Yeah, actually, the end of last season, when I got second at the Pro Tour and won Player of the Year, it was a really unlikely victory because I was trailing in the Player of the Year race for the entire second half of the season, and people had just kind of wrote it off and assumed that Seth Manfield was going to win. But and even the day before the Pro Tour, I didn't know what deck I wanted to play. At the midnight hour, we found the T-Merge deck, and I started day one 8-0 and won my clutch round to make it. And it was really hard for me to process because they'd announced that I was going to get in the Hall of Fame, so I wasn't really paying attention to any one specific thing, but a lot of awesome things were all happening at the same time. And I won my last match, and I had clinched top 8, and I was so happy. And somebody said, "Oh, well, you also won Player of the Year," because I was just thinking about trying to make top 8 and trying to play my match, and I go, "Oh yeah, that's awesome." So it was really unlikely in that I had completely forgotten that was going to happen. That was really awesome.
I guess the victory was the biggest comeback. But when I beat Bob at Worlds, and we were playing very similar copies of the Thinker deck. Then I was down 2 games to 1, 10% to win, and I could have been 1% to win. And then I was down 2 to 1, and then I eventually got there.
Biggest standout comeback was the finals of Grand Prix Miami. This was a tournament where I was playing old standard Jund deck, Huntmaster of the Fells, Thragtusk, Bonfire of the Damned, and I was playing against Abzan Reanimator deck. I lost game 1 fairly convincingly, and then in game 2 I had mulligan down to 5. So that's pretty much as far with your back against the wall as it gets. But I had one particular card that was really good in the matchup, Olivia Voldaren, and this was a card where if she survived, it was pretty much a one-woman show. My hand was maybe 1 removal spell and then enough lands to cast Olivia, and it's like, this is what I got, can you beat it? But it was good enough, and then I went on to win game 3 and the whole tournament.